stores with all the books, and I don't know what possessed me. I was just sitting around being immensely lazy on this fine Saturday. And I just suddenly felt this compulsion to make a TBR video because we are in readathon season here on BookTube. Yes, August and September, since I've been on BookTube, which this I think is my 3rd year, but August and September just get away from me every year because I'm a school teacher and I go back to work August 1st, and it just seems like it takes just the full 2 months to get back in the rhythm of working again after being off for 2 months, and to get through all of the paperwork involved in being an ESL teacher, and all the lesson planning and just everything. So finally, you know, almost done with September and feeling like I'm almost there, typical. And it's almost time for fall break, so yay. Anyway, this is also ramping up to the busiest time of year in BookTube. So I've already missed Women in Translation month. August really is not my month to be organized on the internet. And Hispanic Heritage Month also usually gets away from me. That is from September 15th through October 15th. So I find that I forget to get involved with it in September, and then when October rolls around, I get so involved with Victober and Spookathon that I don't work in any of the Hispanic Heritage Month books, or just a couple. But I love all these readathons. But yeah, we're ramping up to Victober and Spookathon, and Nonfiction November will be here before we know it. Mel's come up with a cool new readathon, so let's just jump in. I think Mel's I'm going to be able to handle, even though it's in September. It's the last week, and like I said, I'm almost there. So jumping right in, and I will link all of these booktubers down below so you can check out these readathons as well if you're interested. But Mel's readathon is Gone with the Book, and it's all about getting excited for those, it's kind of what I call modern classics. So books written between 1900 and 1950. So these books have just missed Victorian literature, and I don't consider them classics, but I call them modern classics is my designation. And you know, I'm not official, certainly, but Mel has come up with this great readathon, and it's a unique readathon time frame as well. It's the last 3 weeks of these next 3 months. So I didn't say that well. It's the last week of the next 3 months. So the last week of September, October, and November. And I have picked out, I'm sure I've got several more books, but like I said, there's a lot of readathons, so I'm trying to start out small and build up to more. If I accomplish these tasks, we'll see. So I have picked out a book for each of the 3 weeks. Starting out really small with this one, because like I said, September's rough for me, but getting better. I have John Steinbeck's The Long Valley. I love Steinbeck, and I didn't realize this until I flipped through. This is a short story collection, so it's even smaller than it looks, because in addition to, you know, introductions and appendices and things like that, The Red Pony is one of the short stories in here, which I have already read. I read it in elementary school and swore that I would never read it again, even at that young age, because it is sad. Anyway, And then I have another much beloved story, I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith, I believe. Yes, Dodie Smith. I think I'm going to read this one in October. And then Mel. Testament of Youth by Vera Britton. I'm looking at doing this one in November, Mel. This one is a nonfiction read, so perfect for nonfiction November. And this one is also off my Tower of Doom. Quite a chunky one off that tower. So this would be very helpful for me to create space there. Okay, then for Hispanic Heritage Month, I have found 3 more reads off the Tower of Doom that will work well for Hispanic Heritage Month. This one I really want to start right away. Voices of Time, A Life in Stories by Eduardo Galeano. And this one translated by Mark Fried. This one is written in, I'm not sure if this is maybe prose poetry or if it's just like flash fiction. I'm curious to dive in. This format has me way intrigued. And he is, I believe, the one from Uruguay. Yes, Uruguay. And then, I mean, this might as well be a classic. But no. Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. And he is Colombian. And then The Death of Artemio Cruz by Carlos Fuentes. I really don't know anything about this one. Not much. He's a Mexican author. But this is one that I got back in the day when I was grabbing books willy-nilly from the used bookstore, fill a bag sale. But I'm still intrigued by this one. This one is translated by Sam Hilleman. And this one by Edith Grossman. So that is my Hispanic Heritage Month selection. Then we have the big guns. Victober. So, Victober is hosted by Ange and Kate Howell and Katie and Lucy. And there are prompts, and I think I remember them vaguely. But like I said, I will link these channels below so you can check them out if you're interested in participating, if you haven't looked into it already. Most of you have, I would suppose. But we have a female author that you haven't read yet. And for that one, I have Lady Audley's Secret by Mary Elizabeth Braddon. I think Kate Howe loves that one. A reread, which is Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I did not get along with the Dickens Tale of Two Cities. I mean, it was fine, but it was just so much. But I really remember liking this as a kid. So, high hopes for this one. And then there's a prompt about reading like over 500 or 550, something like that. And for that, I'm going to complete The Last Chronicle of Barset by Anthony Trollope. And I also still need to read Framley Parsonage. So, getting some Anthony Trollope love in for Victober. Of course, I think that needs to be a tradition, a yearly tradition. And then there is one to read a lesser known work, and it's supposed to be associated with the year of your favorite Victorian novel, which I don't know, but you guys know I like to cheat anyway. But I'm just gonna read some of Oscar Wilde's poetry. I have his complete collection here, and I've already read the 2 plays that are the read along for this year. So, and I've already read The Picture of Dorian Gray. So I'm going to dip into some poems in here. I've been highlighting things as I read them so that I'll know when I'm finished with this massive tome. And then if I have time, I have a couple more selections. These are nonfiction on the Dickens theme. I have his American Notes, which he was there in 1842. So I think this would be super intriguing. And I also have this nonfiction about Charles Dickens himself, written by Jane Smiley, who is a Pulitzer Prize-winning author. So maybe. And then last but certainly not least, this is the time of year in which I read all of the mysteries and thrillers and scary stories. Yeah. I get the urge this time of year. So for that, Spookathon is by Books and Lala, and it's the end of October. I will link her below as well. And these are also books off the Tower of Doom. So there are prompts for Spookathon, and I think I want to vlog it. But I just pulled these, and I'll see if I get to any of them prior to Spookathon, and then maybe try to round out the prompts from my regular shelf. But so far, all these from my Tower of Doom are My Cousin Rachel by Daphne du Maurier, Affinity by Sarah Waters, my first Sarah Waters, guys, can you believe it? Alice by Christina Henry. Cool cover, eh? I think this one is set in a psych ward, as is this one. And then the New York Trilogy by Paul Auster. I believe he is of the 4321 fame. This is another one that I got in the big fill-a-bag sale. Really cool edition. And this is a short story collection there, or novella collection, I would say. And last, the Book of Speculation by Erica Swyler. So there you go, my massive TBR. But it's for the next couple months, so it's not that bad. And look, my guy slept the whole thing. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and happy reading. I will be back soon. Bye.